Okay, part two of the 2005 E350 6.0 bottom fuel filter replacement. So first thing you want to do is drain the water separator. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're not. Let's see, this one is tight. So sometimes they're not easy to take off, and you got to work them as they are. Expose the elements and therefore get crusty. There we go. Of course, you want to have a pan. That's going to make a mess, and you want to make sure to get all that junk and dispose of it properly. For the most part, diesel can be disposed along with engine oil. So you can pour it in the same container and dispose it at O'Reilly's or pretty much any other auto store that takes oil. So this will take a little while to drain. If you don't drain it, obviously you're going to have a mess. And so that basically meaning that if you don't drain it as much as possible, there's a whole lot of diesel in here. There's actually close to, in a lot of cases, 2 quarts. And if you've already taken the upper filter off, that means there's air that can actually move freely through the system. And so you're more likely going to allow a lot more diesel through. So if you do them separately, it's actually better to a certain degree. It'll still drip here, so it takes forever. If you don't take the top filter, because you have all that diesel kind of dripping down the system, you see how it's slowing down. So the top is still closed off, and that's it for this for the most part. So now the next step is to take a 26 millimeter, preferably a 6-point, as this is a 6-point. I'm gonna have to put my camera down because I mean near impossible to do this with one hand. Just bear with me. Okay, so as you probably heard, I was loosening this up enough so I could take it out by hand. I'm going to close this so I don't get further mess all over my hands, but it still will be very messy. This is pretty simple, but you see how diesel wants to just come out of this thing, so clearly having a pan here is wise. Sometimes you're going to run into this problem where you're going to have clearance issues, so you're going to have to take this off. This is a 4x4, so obviously it has a front differential. Then you have the drive shaft, which is in the way, which means this job gets way more interesting simply because there's less profile. It's a low profile scenario. You're running out of room. Not all these, of course, are going to be like this. So you just got to work with it the best you can. And once it's free, you just want to pop it out, pull it out. Now you see how I can't get it out? There are scenarios where you may have to take the 8 millimeter bolts out of your drive shaft. Take the yoke assembly out, disconnect it. It's not that hard to do, but if you need clearance like this, where you really aren't going to get this cap off unless you do that, because you really can't get something, either way, even if you wanted to destroy the internal filter, you still have to put it all back together in a proper fashion that you're not destroying the filter. So you got to take the drive shaft off. So that's a little more fun. So that's what's going to have to happen in this case, because you can see I cannot get the cap out, can't force it out, I have to put it back together. So either way. All right, thanks.